Yeah. Happy Friday. What's up, y'all? It's your boy ARP, and we are back with the Sorry is True podcast. Where we at? Episode 422. It's a lot of content I've got up in relation to the Sorry is True podcast since I retired. So we at it's like almost a year and a half that I'm getting towards. A little under a year and a half, I believe. Yeah. But we working. We working. Hey, off topic, semi off topic. Styles P, Gangsta and Gentleman. You want to know what I miss? You want to know something that we will never get back to? The DVD mixtape era, man. You had to be there. It was such a beautiful time for hip hop. And speaking of the homie Styles P, was this the Ghost in the Shell? Oh, Ghost in the Machine. I say Ghost in the Shell. That's the anime or anime. Ghost in the Machine. What else we got? Hard to Kill. DJ Cochise. Styles. Was you there? Was you there? Oh, he does have a Ghost in the Shell. See, I knew I wasn't tripping. Ghost in the Shell. What's this one? Do you believe in ghosts? Remember the Come Up DVD? Remember this? Come Up DVD, Styles P on the front cover, a Gangster and a Gentleman, a bunch of other topics on this one. I so miss the DVD and mixtape era. Just beautiful times for hip hop. But we're gonna get back to Styles P a little bit more later on in the stream. But what we're gonna start with is I want to get into a recap for the Diddy trial day 4. Yeah, day 4. Yeah, today will be day 5. Duh. Yeah, we started Monday. Day 4 because the cross examination of Cassie today should be the last day that she's on the stand. The judge kind of put his foot down yesterday. He wanted to give the prosecution a day and a half and the defense a day and a half. Pretty much leaning on the fact that she's pregnant. She's up there. She's going through all of this. She's getting close to her delivery date. So I don't know if that's going to tactically help or hurt the prosecution or the defense. But at the end of the day, it's even. It's not like the prosecution had 2 weeks to interrogate her or question her or throw her alley oops. And then when it's towards the end of her appearance up there on the stand, the defense was only left with a day and a half. No, the judge kept it fair. So, the defense and the prosecution both have to adjust to the fact that she's pregnant and she has limited time up there. That's another reason why she goes week 1. But I do want to do a recap because this is the star witness. A lot of explosive things have come out of Cassie's testimony. $20 million was the actual number, freak off details, cheating details, abuse details. Other people were mentioned. We read yesterday, Michael B. Jordan came up. The Kid Cudi situation was mentioned yesterday. So I want to do a recap of yesterday, and then I probably will come back this afternoon after court closes down to get into the actual weeds and the details of her final cross examination today. So keep an eye out. That will be a live stream. All right. I will be live. You can look forward to that maybe let's say around 5, maybe 6 p.m. Court closes down. I'm going to get the stream together. We're going to be live together here in the chat, chopping it up. Okay. Also, we got Chris Brown's arrest. I want to get into that. We also have some updates related to Dame Dash. Wild updates for Dame Dash. It's going to feel a little bit like almost what the game is going through. But we're also going to get into all of the stuff that's been hanging over him legally lately. And I want to get into OTF. There's some updates related to Lil Durk's case. We want to talk about DoodieLo. He got shot the other day in the leg in Atlanta, I believe. There's some other stuff that came out about that. And another OTF member I want to discuss. I'm going to group all of that together. I got y'all. And what else? I got some smaller news that we're going to close out with. Like I said, I do want to throw a little light towards the guy, Styles P, the legend, Styles P. But before I start with the Diddy update, just a quick podcast update and reminder. We are settling on the schedule. So podcast episodes like this, full-length episodes like this one, will probably be available on the channel Monday through Friday, somewhere around 7 a.m. Let's say 7 a.m., 8 a.m., probably the latest. But for example, when I'm done here, I'm shooting this right now at 4:45. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as this is done, I'll probably just make it available for everybody. And then the clips from the streams will continue to roll out during the day. That's for the people that like the shorter content, the people that's just like, man, I just want to click up this 10-minute video for the OTF updates. We got y'all all day long. And like I said, later on, mixed in during the week, the entire week, you will see me also going live as well for just other big news and updates that we got to jump on right away. We can't wait till the morning. When it comes to the weekends, those will be full all-out lives in the morning, followed by clips once again. So that's why I get a chance to be more interactive, chill with the chat, answer questions, go back and forth. So that's definitely every weekend, Saturday and Sunday morning. And as far as members will continue to get the exclusive content. But I had a good phone call yesterday with my YouTube management network. Shout out to Quarterlab. And we're scaling back some of the members only's full length episodes. Those may be 1 to 2 per week. I don't know if I'm going to randomize it or if I'm going to say, for example, the Monday full episodes will always be members only. It depends. I want to see how things go, but that's going to be scaled back, which means that Monday through Fridays full episodes will be going back to publicly accessible for everybody. You won't have to be a member for Monday through Friday. All right. So clips, shorts, live streams, random during the week, live streams every weekend, full episodes dropping every morning, members only. You still will get some exclusives. We're covering every base, okay? I might actually clip this as well and put this on my Instagram and everything because there's been changes over the last couple of weeks and I have seen some of the feedback. Where's the stream? Where's the morning? Damn, that was my morning. I put that with my cup of coffee and all that. I want to make sure I continue to get all the details out for everybody that's rocking with the Sorry It's True podcast. This is our way, my formula that I came up with, and then also partner with Quarterlab to make sure that they was in the loop and they had their advice on it as well, so that we can cover every base of this growing platform. So much appreciation to y'all. You know, we're going to keep working. Let's get to it. Diddy, the recap once again before they all arrive at court later on this morning. And we start to get the final cross-examination from Cassie. So, all right. The recap, day 4. And if you want the full breakdown, read and details along with my reactions from yesterday as it pertains to her cross-examination from the defense, I did that live yesterday. Okay, that's on the channel right now for y'all. Day 4 recap. Scroll down to catch up on what happened. The first day of Cassie Ventura's cross-examination by defense lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs has ended. Once again, that was yesterday's joint. After a day and a half of questioning by the prosecution, it was the turn of the rapper's team to put questions to the ex-girlfriend of more of a decade and singer better known as Cassie. Okay, so let's get through the highlights. Here's a summary of what we heard in court. Combs defense lawyer Anna Estavo began with questions about their relationship, asking Cassie if she loved the rapper and if she knew a version of him the public didn't, to which she said yes. Text message, and to my reaction to that when we went through the full details was like, shit, we learned the version of both of y'all that we know about. You and the freak offs and the freak offs during your period and the UTIs and the sores in your mouth and getting pissed in your mouth and how you it feels like you're using freak offs to try to get closer to him, looking for security or possibly get married and all this type of stuff. I learned a lot about both of y'all, all right, in this short week. Let's keep it 1,000. Text messages between the couple who were together for around 11 years from 2007 were the focus of much of the hearing today. So they showed a lot of text messages that we reacted to on yesterday's stream related to the defense showing that there's times where she was on totally with the freak offs, texting him like, oh, I can't wait to freak off and looking forward to a baby. He texted, yo, I'm horny, babe. She said, oh my God, I'm so horny too. I was just about to text you, texting each other lovey stuff, continue to show her consent. All right, that she's a consenting adult. That's the picture that they're painting. They did a lot of that with text messages and emails yesterday. So we get it. And we knew that was coming. Combs called her baby girl and said, love you so much, it makes me cry, in messages from 2009, while Cassie said, I love you so much, I can't wait till we don't care anymore. Yesterday, I focused in on that. Till we don't care anymore. What does that mean? She doesn't want to be the side chick. She wants to be the girlfriend. She wants to be the wife. She's jealous of Kim Porter and Diddy, having that family dynamic with the kids over there. She's saying he's never with her on holidays. So she even has text messages where it's just like, y'all want to freak off, but I just don't want this to only be sex. The classic, what are we shit that a lot of women do, that annoying ass shit. Yeah. So these text messages, they are very important during this cross examination. I think they did a decent job with it. Questioning then turned to the freak offs. We heard so much about that at trial so far. Sessions during which Diddy paid male escorts to have sex with Cassie while he watched. Sometimes he was on FaceTime in the other room, right? That's what he said. She was getting nutted on by the escorts, allegedly wiping it off her, and then going in the other room and wiping it on his nipples. That will forever be tied to his legacy. Nobody will ever let him live that down, whether he's incarcerated or whether he skates free. He's never going to be able to live that shit down. Just like Kanye putting out him and his cousin, these are things that is coming to the public. You guys will never live down. And no disrespect to anybody. I'm not saying that you have to live that down, but I'm just saying, Kanye, you put yourself in a totally different light that we never seen you in. You did that. We didn't do that. You did that. But in a later message, she said a freak off had made her feel grimy and dirty. Diddy's lawyer painted his sexual preferences as part of a swingers lifestyle that has been mentioned previously at trial, saying people might not agree with it, but it does not make him guilty of sex trafficking. Yeah, you got to claim it. You got to go Eminem 8 Mile. You got to go the scene with the high power profile defendant in Devil's Advocate, the movie when Keanu Reeves is like, shit, I'm going to paint you as this bad guy over here, which means that at the time you're not over there murdering your wife. These are like just classic movie examples and references of if you claim some of this stuff, yeah, I slapped her, but I'm not here for domestic dispute. Yeah, I was possessive. Yeah, I was jealous. Yeah, I wild out sometimes. Yeah, I got a temper, but I'm not here for that stuff. Yeah, you guys see in the video, I did stomp her, slam her, kick her, but that's not sex trafficking. Oh, the guy that was in the room with us, another consenting adult, so they have to claim it, and it's good to claim. And I also had a reaction moment yesterday on the stream where I glanced past the part where it said he got mad at her one time and kicked her in the back. I read it so casually and I caught myself. I said, why am I damn near desensitized and numb to like this incident that I'm reading, her getting kicked in the back? You want to know why? Because I didn't seen this hotel video. So them claiming it, and if this is the worst from a physical, controlling, abusive standpoint that we will see, then people can claim it, especially if they're painting Cassie in the corner for being a consenting adult and asking for some of this stuff and staying off and on and coming back allegedly after she gets hard and whatnot and still having more sex with him and everything. If it happens to us just from casually reading it and bringing us down a little bit, it's going to happen to the jurors. All right. So keep an eye on this, man. I really, really feel like the ball is still in the middle of the court. Prosecution did their thing, but defense painting their pictures well as well. All right. The witness also told the court there were never any drugs in the baby oil, so they got that off the table. We saw that yesterday. That was a big thing on the internet. Was all the baby oils that y'all found in the crib where y'all raided them, was it laced with GHB? Was that what was going around the freak offs and the parties and whatnot? Even Cassie said no, the baby oil wasn't laced. So I think that it was smart for the defense to not only bring that up as it pertains to this case right here, but I can't even keep up. Does he have any civil suits out there of somebody saying I got drugged by the baby? Or like he got 1,000. I don't even remember, but get that out of there civilly and criminally. And you get Cassie to damn near admit that. Well, she testified that for you yesterday. So smart on the defense. Away from the questioning, a notable moment came when Judge Arun became frustrated with Diddy's lawyer over how long they will cross-examine Cassie. Yes. So the length of the line of questioning that was happening yesterday, the judge, during one of the breaks, he expressed that they're trying to chop that down. He put out that clear reminder. They got a day and a half. Y'all get a day and a half. He's putting his foot down on that. Everything that I've heard of the judge so far has been very down to earth, very fair. And this is a firm moment for him. And of course, every judge needs to be fair. They are the mediator. They are the person directed traffic in the middle of all of this. So we have no beef with the judge thus far. All right. All right, let's keep going. Oh, those were the main ones that we have with a recap. All right. Some more than I remember, of course, were all the drugs that she talked about. Right. She definitely claimed to go through withdrawals and be sick at times. She took a bunch of ecstasy with him. She also said that yes, he was doing other drugs, I believe cocaine as well, but she didn't consider him an addict of some of those harder drugs. But she's standing on, I did all this drinking, I did all these drugs because of the freak offs, right? I had to use that as a way to numb or escape what was actually happening because I never really was with it. So there's times I'm going up, times I'm going down, times I'm going through withdrawals. But they said that not counseling, but rehab wasn't really a thing for them. I think in a different testimony from the prosecution, that was like Tuesday or Wednesday with Cassie, something like they was getting massages after freak offs. So they're painting a picture of the freak offs being intense. Okay, they definitely are. Oh my bad. No, there's way more recaps here. What am I doing? I'm tripping. All right, let's get back to it. Combs' defense lawyer Anna Estavo began with questions about their relationship, asking Cassie if she loved the rapper and if she knew a version of him the public didn't. To which she said yes. Text messages between the couples who were together for 11 years from 2007 will focus much of the hearing. Yes. Did I skip anything? Oh no, I didn't. It was the Kid Cudi thing that I don't remember us reading. Cassie's relationship with Kid Cudi and Diddy, with Kim Porter, the later mother of 4 of his children were discussed, with Cassie admitting she was jealous of Kim. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, we did that. The witnesses also told the court there were never any drugs in it. Yeah, we did that already. Okay. Yeah. So we did cross everything as far as just a little quick checklist. Let me continue once again to add some more ones that we remember from yesterday. Michael B. Jordan came up. There was a jealous moment supposedly where Diddy thought that she was hanging out with him. So at least from testimony thus far, that's not like a confirmed thing. It's not like it was testimony of Cassie coming out saying like, yeah, me and Michael B. Jordan was hanging out and Diddy ran down on me one time and slapped me for it. No, that's not what came out. And I'm glad, lead a homie Michael B. Jordan out of this, man. He's doing good for himself right now. He's one of our very, very doing well black young Hollywood movie stars, man. I hope he can keep his name clean, his image clean, keep delivering Hollywood blockbuster movies. Black Panther, Creed, Sinners is right now holding the movie of the year in a lot of critics' eyes. Leave Michael B. Jordan alone, man. We must protect our young up and coming. He's not even up and coming, but our young heavyweights, right? And that's not a black thing. That's just a successful thing, man. I don't wish on nobody's downfall, man. If you deserve it, you deserve it. If you're out there doing some wild, nasty shit, then it just is what it is. But other than that, man, leave people alone and let people live, let people win. I want Michael B. Jordan to win, man. Keep his name far from this shit. All right. Him as well as many, many other people. Okay. I want to see people that deserve to win actually win. Yeah, but that was a kind of like a little recap. Any other big haymakers that came out yesterday? I mean, peep yesterday's stream for full detail. We went through everything and broke it down with full reaction. So once again, I will be back later on this afternoon. Once court closes to close out a full recap of Cassie's cross examination, which also appears to be her final day at trial and testifying. Okay. I will say prior to us moving on to Chris Brown, because today can get crazy. Today can get crazy. This is 25% of her testimony, right? It's only 4 days. So this is 25%, which means we could hear a lot today. But before we hear today, I will take the position that the ball is in the middle of the court. This is start of the game or right after halftime jump ball. Like actually it's not, isn't they don't jump ball at that in second half. What am I talking about? This start of the game jump ball. We right in the middle still. I thought the star witness, Cassie, was gonna swing the tide one way heavy. So if you swung it to the prosecution side heavy and had everybody saying, man, Diddy, guilty, 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 wrap this trial up. It's a wrap. Throw him in jail and throw away the key. Then the defense was going to have to use the rest of the trial to continue to get that ground back, whether it's from other witnesses, other evidence that's submitted, other test, whatever. Or if it was everything ran to the defense side and everybody was like, yo, what are we here for? Domestic abuse? Man, free this man. This ain't no RICO. This doesn't belong in federal court. It belongs in state court. Then the prosecution was going to have to find other witnesses, and I believe that Shorty from Danny DeCane is taking a stand today, right? At least that's what's anticipated. They were going to have to get their footing back. I don't feel either one. I feel like we're still in the middle. Cassie is not a moot point. It's not a wash then. People's never going to forget the good stuff for the defense side that she testified, as well as the bad stuff that leans to the prosecution side. No, people's not going to forget that. It's still going to weigh heavy on this trial and the outcome. But it didn't make me personally lean heavy to either side. So let's get this last 25% of her and then see also if Shorty from Danny DeCane makes it to trial today to testify. And we'll go from there. I know this is supposed to be the star witness and the highlight this week right here with Cassie, but we can't forget there's still a lot of trial to go. I've heard sayings of they're looking to end and close it out in July, right? It could be over a month and a half left. All right, people. So we're still gonna hear a lot, have to break down a lot. Hell, Cassie might not be the heaviest thing that comes in and makes people say, oh shit, guilty or not guilty. So we'll get there. All right, no jumping out the window for me. Chris Brown, let's talk, man. I see a lot of people that was trying to put up their rent money to grab tickets for his upcoming tour. And shout out to Chris Brown. A lot of people say modern day Michael Jackson. He's earned it. One of the most talented musicians of all time. The man to get up there, perform some of his greatest hit songs while doing backflips on stage. You got to give it to him. He's an entertainer. He's a performer. He actually is a good vocalist. He's not one of these R&B singers who is more into the stage presence and the performing and the dancing. The man actually got great vocal talent. You know, he's had a lot of ups and downs over the years. He's got that bad boy reputation that he's earned, whether it's the Rihanna situation or fights and scuffles. And he's a known gangbanger right now, right? He claims what he claims, you know, so him staying out of trouble is just not something that goes hand in hand with his career or his reputation. All right. But this wasn't something that happened to him when he was taken into custody. This was something he got grabbed for in the past when he landed. It was just like, oh, he's hit, grab him. All right. Chris Brown arrested at 5-star Manchester hotel for smashing tequila bottle over music producer's head. Damn. Synopsis. Chris Brown, the U.S. rapper. Why they got him labeled as a rapper? Chill out, UK. Chill out. He does rap. He has had a bunch of rapping over the years. He's a good rapper. He ain't even a shitty rapper. Shit, he dropped the diss song last year, right? What was it on Homie from the Migos? Which one of the Migos did he diss? Was it Quavo? But he could actually rap too, but come on, he's an R&B singer. All right, more details. Chris Brown was arrested Thursday at a 5-star hotel in Manchester, England, for allegedly attacking a music producer with a bottle at a nightclub, per The Sun. The Run It singer, 36, was arrested at 2 a.m. outside the Lowry Hotel for an indictment that happened in February 2023 at Tape nightclub in Mayfair, London. So this indictment has been in for over 2 years. Oh. So if an indictment goes in, is that the same as issuing a warrant? Right? Was a warrant issued for his arrest? Did he know about this? I want to assume if he knows about this, he's not going to just be moving in there. You kind of want to stay away from places where, hey, if I go there, I might get arrested tonight. It's shit. One of the biggest examples that comes to mind for me, I'll say allegedly in case it's not true. But what did they say about Steven Seagal? Steven Seagal skipped seas, man. He said, yeah, I'm out of here. Went over to Russia because allegedly he was going to be facing some allegedly as it was like some child molestation or some R stuff. But yeah, the old throwback, old school movie star Steven Seagal, they say he skipped to Russia, right? Talk about doing the race. Some of these motherfuckers be getting in trouble. You can still find them right at their same address, right at their girlfriend's crib in the neighborhood over. Steven Seagal said, what? Nigga, please. Too cold over there in Russia, though, for me. Hell no. That's a place that I never care to visit. I'm a globetrotter, but go to Russia for what? I don't see it. I don't see a reason why. All right. So, yeah, this indictment was in since February 2023. part of me makes me want to go get the actual paperwork for that. Not now, but checks and balances, please keep an eye out for that, or see if y'all hunt that down. The actual indictment from February of 2023 of this alleged Chris Brown attack. We could read all the super flushed out details for everybody if we go and grab that. The Metropolitan Police told the Sun that Brown, 36 years old, was detained at a 5-star. All right, so we saw that part. The arrest relates to an incident at a venue, Hanover Square, February 19, 2023. The investigation is being led by detectives from the Central West Area Basic Command Unit. Okay. What are the charges against Chris Brown? Complainant Mr. Dede has accused R&B star Chris Brown of launching an unprovoked attack on him at approximately 3 a.m. while the singer and his entourage were at an upscale tape nightclub. All right. Well, I will say this. If Chris did it, he did it. If he was the one that threw the bottle, swung the bottle, if he did it, he did it. But also, we got to remember, if you're the star, if you're the face, if you're the center, you will be the one with the lawsuit or the accusation, or you will be targeted by the police or by the person that's the alleged victim. That's just how it goes. If Chris Brown walks into a club and he's 20 deep, or he's got a 10-person entourage or security guards, if somebody gets hit with a fucking bottle that night, Chris Brown did it. No matter what, Chris Brown did it, you know? And also there's a lot of civil suits where the person didn't allegedly directly do it, but they will still blame you civilly. They're still trying to make you culpable to a degree. And rest in peace, because there were lives lost. But to a degree, that's like even Travis Scott. Travis Scott, it was his concert where people lost their lives. It's not that he's the one that trampled them, right? Or hurt them or killed them himself. But he got a whole bunch of lawsuits and a whole bunch of situations behind that he had to deal with. And once again, condolences to all the families. But if you're the name and you're the brand, that's one thing that always scared me about the 10-year run of Rare Breed Entertainment. You know, just the feeling like we in and out of all these venues. And if, you know, some battle rapper throws a punch or somebody gets into it in the crowd, are they just the type of person that's just going to say ARP because he's the owner of the company? You know, that's how it goes. But we do know Chris Brown himself be getting into shit. So I just want to throw that out there, because just because he's the one that's in the paperwork or has the indictment on him doesn't necessarily mean that if this person sustained injuries that Chris Brown was the one that did it. It can happen. Mr. Dede alleged that Brown struck him over the head with a bottle before proceeding to punch and kick him while he was on the ground. Speaking to the Sun on Sunday, the music producer said, "He hit me over the head 2 or 3 times. My knee collapsed as well." So if the way he's detailing it, Chris is the one that did it. He hit me with the bottle and they stomped me out. If this was true, this would be extremely irresponsible by Chris Brown. It's like, so many times from the outside looking in, we hear about these situations, and I know the devil is in the details, not like we were really there, but you want to say, damn, you got the world in your palm. You made it. You're killing. How could you get caught up in a club stomping somebody out if you're Chris Brown, one of the biggest R&B artists of all time? Allegedly. How could you get caught doing that? Even if there's a situation going on, the wolves or the security guards got to handle that. No alleged victim is supposed to be looking up and seeing Chris Brown stomping them out in a club. They're not supposed to be able to do that. You know, and self-defense is one thing too. I don't know the details. I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I don't want to believe that at this age, Chris Brown is still, with his reputation and his history, would be that stupid. Because if this was February 2003, they say he's 36 now, right? So depending on the month of his birthday, 34 years old, and already been to hell and back, up and down, lawsuits, all types of stuff. And you can't be in a club stomping somebody out. You just can't. You can't. You got to be the guy that walks away. You saw that clip of Michael B. Jordan that we played like last week or the week before? Dude was begging him for, hey, all right, so yo, can I get that fade? That corny ass shit that guy was doing outside of the spot. Michael B. Jordan just walked past him and ignored him. You want me to come down here and risk all this stuff and ruin all this stuff I got going on? I'm about to start this global world tour. I ain't got no time to stomp you out. I'm sorry, unless there's a threat that I feel I need to alleviate on some self-defense shit. Other than that, you can't be the aggressor if you're Chris Brown, B. Not with your history, not with your background, and not with your accolades, and not what you got going on, and not with your public notoriety. You just can't. You can't. Yeah. Following the alleged assault, Mr. Dial was taken to the hospital and required crutches to walk upon his release. So there's medical records and all of this behind this, huh? I'm pretty sure he's got pictures on crutches and all that. The incident reportedly took place while Brown was in the UK part of his global tour. So is this civil? So if there's an indictment, that's criminal. Is there a civil piece of this? Brown is scheduled to, because he's in jail right now. Yeah, currently Chris Brown is in custody, people, and he's scheduled to see the judge today. So that's criminal, and it's from a prior indictment. It's criminal. All right, this isn't a civil situation. Is there a civil piece to this? I thought I heard that there was. Brown is scheduled to perform 10 more shows across Britain next month, but the ongoing police investigation could disrupt the remainder of his tour. Absolutely, it can. In response to the alleged incident, Mr. Dial has filed a civil lawsuit against Brown seeking $16 million in damages for injuries and financial losses he claims to have suffered. Now, I know sometimes when we see these numbers, like this little girl, Gabri Zeninga with Shannon Sharp, the overall situation, unless he actually awed her, which a lot of people are on the fence about, right? It looks like a lineup. It looks like some bullshit, but at the same time, Shannon, yeah, no business with this little girl. And there's audio you talking about choking, whatever. And there's some weird shit around Shannon's name in that overall situation, allegedly. Point being, 20 million. It seems like the lineup type of lawsuit that we see so often. See, some 1-800 Tony Busby type shit. The Jane Doe that sued Jay-Z type shit. 16 million in this case. This is the type of money that be getting justified, though, because if a man got hit over the head with a bottle, was placed in the hospital, got stomped out, came out on crutches, that's way more serious. That ain't no, hey, 10,000 per ass cheek like Gabriella, and then later on he brings you gifts, and then you still claim that you got awed that day or the day before. Some shit. It's not that. The man probably got a ton of proof of him being physically. And then it's just about if Chris Brown is found guilty on that or not. All right. So 60 million is hanging over him for that. The two-time Grammy Award winning had planned to continue his Breezy Bowl tour. So let's look at that. So that's the charges. That's the situation. Once again, he's supposed to be seeing the judge today. Let's look at the actual tour. All right. For everybody that spent their rent money to grab tickets to this, be careful. Double back, see if you can add on the insurance for your ticket if possible. Sometimes that's only at time of purchase. But Breezy Bowl, Chris Brown, along with Summer Walker and Bryson Tiller. And this is hosted and put on by Live Nation. This is a stadium world tour. So right now, Summer Walker's pissed, Bryson Tiller's pissed, Chris Brown is definitely pissed, Live Nation is pissed, his fans are pissed. Tickets go on sale April 3rd. At 10 a.m. local time. So that's a couple months ago when the sale started. So here's some of the dates. Look at this. June date in Amsterdam, Hamburg, Germany. Okay, you got more Germany. You got Manchester. Yeah, so him being over there right now or having issues over there, like with some of these locations that he's moving around in and out, would be a problem. UK, Ireland, UK, France, comes back to Miami. All right, now it looks like he's back in the States now. Florida, by the time we get to August, he's back in the States. Okay, PA, Detroit, DC, New Jersey, PA, Toronto. Then he goes back out the country here. Okay, Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Atlanta. It's a big deal. Looks like it's closing out in Las Vegas in September. That's a lot of dates. And some of them are just a couple days apart. From the 8th to the 11th, and then after the 11th, the 13th. It's NBA playoffs, man. You get a day or two rest, and we back on the court. 16th to the 19th, 19 to 20. Yeah. Where's some of the biggest gaps? Right here. This is one of the biggest gaps. July 5th to July 30th. Judge, if I got to come back to court, can I please come the second or the third week of July. All right. You got to ask these things. It's your lawyer's job to request these type of things. I'm currently on tour. He's probably going to get a bond, right? Hopefully he gets a bond, unless they're up there talking about like, no, this is from 2023. This indictment went in and we're holding you until you make it to trial, make it to court, because we feel like you're a flight risk or some shit, right? But let's say hypothetically he goes to the judge today and he makes bond. Damn, I didn't even think about that. What if he doesn't get bond today? But let's say he makes bond. Your lawyer, as you guys are constructing the court dates and whatnot, you got to focus in on the tour. You don't want all these fans having to refund to some of these big stadiums having to. This is a big deal. I remember Usher had to move one of his shows this year, right? It was a big deal. It was a big deal to a lot of fans, a lot of people, a lot of money, it's a big deal. So yeah, this is the biggest gap that I see, the July 5th through the 30th. After that, it's pretty consistent once again. Yeah, that was just one little break. Everything else is boom, 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 moving, moving, moving. All right. So that's the update with Chris Brown. Best wishes to him. Best luck to him. We'll keep an eye out for what happens when he sees the judge today. All right. What do we got next? We got Dame Dash. Let's go to Dame Dash. Man, this did not look good at all, man. When I told y'all in the intro, it's got a little bit of that game type situation that's going on where the judge might come in and say, you need to liquidate. You need to sell this. Nah, we ain't holding off on that anymore. Crib got to go. This got to go. Cars got to go. Exclusive. Damon Dash ordered to sell film studio and streaming network. Now, when we talk about his streaming network, that's the one that just launched, right? Dame Dash streaming network. What was the name of it again? What was the name of his streaming network? Was it something America or something? Yeah, America New Network. All right, so if I go to America New Network, do you have an about section that will tell me when this started? Let me look at the description. America New Network. Okay, joined. Oh, this has been here since February, or at least this channel on YouTube since 2016. But I bet if I go back on some of his videos real quick, I do not see this America New Network type of stuff. This is pretty much to me when he started podcasting, damn near. I don't know what else really developed under the America New Network that I've seen outside of him just doing his own content. I remember when he was trying to go back and forth with 50 and his teeth fell out. And he tried to challenge 50. 50's over here making a Tyler Perry move, opening up some $1 billion situation. Here goes Dame Dash launching his new YouTube channel, American Network situation. He's like, yo, let's both drop on the same day and compete. What? I looked at that like, Dame, what the fuck did you talk about, B? All this shit tied up with 50 Cent's Tyler Perry fucking move and money and sponsors and people involved with all that. You think he got time to compete with you and turn? Yeah, we're gonna drop on the same day. That was insane. But yeah, I pretty much was only seeing content from Dame, which is cool. I ain't knocking content, but I don't know too much else that was coming out of the American New Network since we heard of its launch, other than him blogging. I haven't. And all right, so this video skips of him confronting Lee Daniels. We remember that. It goes from 6 years. Let me see if it skips. Yeah, the channel took a 5-year break. It has 2 videos at the beginning of the channel uploaded to 6 years ago. Then all of a sudden it jumps to him with a video with Andre Berto, which was 1 year ago. And since then, it looks like he's got, about 40, 50 videos up here, maybe. In total, looks like when you add up the lives and everything, looks like 202 videos up here. I just don't know what this American New Network thing was supposed to be about. And I guess that's relevant because if he's forced to sell it, how much in assets or money is tied to it? Now, you got asset ties, right? So if something's under the umbrella and stamped as tied to America New Network, like let's say a movie release, right? I guess that's an asset that you can go after as well, but it can't be just that YouTube channel. Or else you're not really getting much, to be honest, just from looking at his channel. All right, Damon Dash ordered to sell film studio and streaming network. Well, what's the film studio? Let's try that real quick, and then I'm going to get directly into the article. Dame Dash Film Studio. Is it a big spot? Is it like an apartment rental or something? Is it like where they're doing the Joe Button podcast? Like, what's his film studio? Can we find that? Dame Dash ordered to sell film studio. We know that. All right, something here on Facebook. Dame Dash Studios. Dame Dash Studios. Is there any pictures of it? I just want to know, like, is it like a paid for owned building? Is it studio space that's just been getting leased? I don't know. I just want to know what's tied to if we could find it. I can't really see anything off rip. I'll have to spend more time to research it, but all right, let's get into the details. Dame Dash has been ordered to sell his studio and streaming network over debts to creditors who are still waiting to be paid. That's the thing about suing people as well. Even if it could take years in litigation for these civil suits. Then even if you win, you don't know if you got to face countersuits or appeals. God knows how long that takes. Then let's say you get past the amount of time that you litigate, you get through appeals, you get to a point where it's like, nope, you lose, you got to pay up. Now we got to spend years figuring out how to get the bread, right? Didn't they say Shorty in the game situation, Priscilla, it's been 7 years or something, right? But because there's millions of dollars at stake, then her and her lawyer ain't going nowhere. They're like, sooner or later, even if we can come up on $1 million real quick, we'll take it. You know? So this stuff could take a long time. But allegedly, Dame has been ducking and dodging and rolling for a while now from his debts and his past situations. And allegedly, with all due respect, Dame kind of seems like that type of person. And I'm not trying to say a man that doesn't want to pay his debts. I'm just talking about a man that once he feels that he's in the right, I don't care what the judge said. I'm going to disrespect this deposition. Remember when we played that? I'm just going to fuck you. Like, I'm not wrong in this situation. You a culture vulture. I'm not paying shit. Dame has that type of personality. He's shown us that over the years. You know, I'll still say allegedly, but all right. Dame Dash's wife, Raquel Horn, who has been ordered by a federal judge in New York to sell her ownership of Dame Dash's business, the Dash Group, and his other assets to help pay a growing list of debts. So if she was ordered, was he pulling what they say Game was doing with Whack 100, which is put the crib or put the cars or put the businesses or put the album allegedly in somebody else's name, right? Because you're not escaping with having it under your wife here, it's stating. His wife Raquel was ordered by the federal judge. Yeah, you're not getting away with this. Nobody. All right. The rap mogul owes over $78,000 to author and filmmaker Mr. Brooks. Brooks sued Dash for copyright infringement in 2019, accusing him of distributing a film based on her Mafietta book series without her consent. Okay. She won the 78.2 thousand judgment in 2020, which Dash refused to pay. He countersued but lost. All right, so that's over 5 years in the making. As Dash continued to dodge payment, Brooks filed additional lawsuits accusing him of hiding assets. We were just talking about that, and funneling money through shell companies like the Dash Group and Poppington LLC. There you have it. According to Brooks, Dame Dash owes nearly $100,000 in interest and legal fees on top of the original judgment. He's about 200 in with her. After multiple failed attempts to collect, including the Rockefeller auction, she pushed the court to force the liquidation of his remaining assets, and a judge has ordered Dame's wife to pay up out of her share in the businesses. Sometimes I think that could be a situation as well. I can't sell it because I'm not the sole owner. Well, who's the other owner of it? Well, 50% of that belongs to my wife. Well, both of y'all got to sell the shit then. You know what I'm saying? All right. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York has just appointed a receiver to oversee the sale of Horn's interest in the Dame Dash Group, which court filings say is owned 100% by his wife. Oh, she had 100% of it. They said, you're not getting around this at all. The Dash Group, which Horn owns several of Dame Dash's most cherished assets, his American New Net Streaming or New Streaming Network, the CEO by Dash website, the children's book, Dusko Goes to Space. Damn. They're going after these assets. Dash is required to fully cooperate, including handing over documents and granting access to company records. The proceeds from the sale will go directly towards satisfying the judgment in Brooks' favor. I feel like the last time we covered Dame, we saw some of that, where they were going at him looking for records. What is the relevance of the records? I want to see this bank statement. I want to see this business account. I'm trying to understand how much money is actually moving through this company or this particular asset. So even the paperwork they were struggling to get from him. He's a standoffish guy. He don't give no fuck about no court orders, man. The move allegedly. The move comes just months after Dash was forced to auction off his 1/3 stake in Rockefeller Records, a sale that brought only $1 million, far less than expected. So we remember that as well. He got to the point where he even was adding a chain to it. When we covered that, I said, that's telling a tale, people. It's one thing to say, you know what, I'm walking around with part ownership in Rockefeller Records. My whole divide with Jay-Z, it makes me sick to my stomach to have some of this, even though I wouldn't understand that. Even Young Thug is walking around like, yeah, he's still signed to YSL. I just don't fuck with him. Go ahead, make that money for me, Gunna. But when I saw Dame, it just feels like once again he's liquidating, and he came with the incentive with it, like, oh, and if you buy the stake in the album, don't be listening to Jay-Z and what they're putting out as far as like how it's going to work out a couple years from now. No, you could buy it. Don't worry, I got you. And if you get it, I'm gonna toss in this chain. It's just like, it just tells a tale, right? It looks away. It paints a picture. But after all of that, 1 million came to the table, and you gotta assume that Dame Dash's lifestyle is very expensive still. He's probably still got a bunch of assets, and if his lifestyle, his kids or family situations, I don't know if he's a child support guy, or I just don't know all the type of stuff he got going on. But I wouldn't be surprised if he don't got a $20,000 minimum per month lifestyle. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm just saying, money moves real fast when you equate your monthly lifestyle, when you equate taxes, when you equate other lawsuits, natural upkeep, especially if none of these things are keeping up with the amount of money that you have coming in. That's where you see somebody that was on cloud 9. You turn around 2 years later and you be like, damn, homie, high school, you was the man. Damn, the caffeine ain't there no more. Now all of a sudden, everybody's scrambling for the hills. What the fuck? That's how it happens. Real talk, man. So it's unfortunate. But 1 million for that. The auction in November 2024 transferred Dash's rights to the label Most Valuable Asset, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt album, to the state of New York. Jay-Z's going to come up on that. I wouldn't be surprised if that Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt album ownership stake isn't like some Bronny on the Lakers type shit. How they had Rich Paul going out there, letting all the other team owners know, and all the recruits like, listen, Bronny's coming to the Lakers. When your partner draft comes up, don't touch them. Right? People's looking at it like, we just saw the public statement that came out of Jay-Z's camp. He's saying that X amount of time, I'm coming for this. And if he got to fight for it, he's coming with the Alex Spiros of the world. Right? So I don't know if that's the best investment. Like, okay, here goes Dame Dash telling me, yeah, cop this for $5 million and I'll give you a chain. This isn't looking like the safest deal to work with you on this, buddy. Not only because of you, but this guy over here is claiming that he got rights to it in a couple years. I don't know, and I kind of believe him. He showed me a lot of reasons over the years to believe him. And even if I do believe you, I do feel like I'm gonna have to go to war with this guy over here that's got $1 billion lawyer to send my way, because he's gonna probably want to fight over this shit. Jay-Z's always been big on his masters. So you want me to walk around with what he considers his baby, his first album, rights to it, and you not making me feel comfortable like I'm gonna really be safe with this money I'm about to spend with you, I'll leave it alone. Shit ends up hitting auctions. Then he said at one point Dame Dash was interested. I mean, not Dame Dash, Drake. Did Drake buy it? Drake could afford it. Drake could have threw that money at Dame easily. Why he didn't buy it? Drake loved collecting people's shit, especially people that he had back and forth with. He had a little thing with Jay-Z, right? Drake would love to get Pharrell's chain or the G Unit spinner or Tupac's ring. That's Drake. He left it alone. I ain't got time for this shit. Allegedly. Oh, damn, I'm in the news cycle, right? We working with this podcast. That's the thing. It brings a lot of news into your mind, people, and I just reference it all over the place. But yeah, we are entrenched in the news cycle, y'all. This is a full all out podcast at this point. If you thought I wasn't retired then, you should know I'm retired by now. Still RBE for life. From that sum, 193,000.8 went towards unpaid. So there goes the child support things like that I said I didn't know about. Towards, so he sold it for $1 million. Almost 200 of that went towards unpaid child support. So nobody's able to get their money out of this guy. And another 1.7 million was applied to Dash's outstanding state tax bill. So he got tax issues, child support that's owed, lawsuits that's owed. His bills might be backing up at this point. Has he not filed bankruptcy at this point? And don't even matter if it's in the wife's name. This is a lot, dude. Like Dame Dash this is another reason I gotta continue to interpret. When I see him, I didn't think that this topic was gonna we was gonna get this much in the weeds, to be honest. But when I see him disgruntled at Jay-Z, let me go to the big screen for a second. Fuck it. I'm in podcast mode. Let's flush it out. Reality check, people. Let me tell you something about human nature. In the average person, I really, really study this psychology shit of people. I really do. If you go through a lot of drama with somebody that you considered a brother, somebody that you went to war and back with, somebody that you burnt bridges over, i.e. Dame Dash and Jay-Z, you got into fights with, you was there from the beginning with this person. Y'all put in the work together, y'all built things together like companies, and it's a lot of that you invested in it, time, money, blood, sweat, and tears that you invested in this shit. And then y'all split and you feel that you were done dirty. You feel that Jay-Z possibly went and sold a piece of the company behind your back, or he pushed you off the boat so he could walk on water. That's his own, out of his own words, right? Grab this artist from you. He grabbed that artist from you. Kanye, come with me. Siegel, come with me, or whatever. And you're disgruntled at that, and you deserve to be. You deserve to walk around with that for the rest of your life. But the level of disgruntled nature of Dame Dash shows me another piece of it. Not just that I feel like you fucked me over and I deserve to be able to feel away forever. Not just that, but that it's also compounded by the fact that Jay-Z, you are on cloud 9. I get to read the Forbes every year and see that you are a fucking billionaire. They're talking about you opening up a casino in Manhattan, and you did this deal with the Brooklyn Nets, bringing the Nets to Brooklyn, and liquor deals and clubs and 44. This is everything you touch is turning to gold. Shit, you suing Tony Busby for $190 million, talking about that was a deal lost. You work side by side with the NFL. You got Rock Nation. You got all this stuff going on. Jay-Z could just go like this and alleviate all of Dame Dash's problems financially. That's a tax write-off to Jay-Z. What you need, Dame, to fix all this? 10 million, 8 million, 6 million to fix it all, make everything go away here. It's nothing to him. But they have such a bad relationship. Like they don't fuck with each other at this point. So Jay-Z, you don't expect Jay-Z to turn around and be like, yo, you know what? Just because of our past, and you was once my brother, let me do this for you. I just don't see that in their relationship. I think too much has happened and continues to happen. So with Dame in his situation where the camera's cut off and it's $200,000 in back child support pay, and it's $1 million towards this debt, and I still got this lawsuit over here, and now they're going at my wife, and now I got to sell my companies, in my studio. That escalates your disgruntled nature because you feel like I'm not even supposed to be in this spot. I'm supposed to be a billionaire as well. That's part of what I see in these interviews from him. Some would say deservingly so. Some would just say that guy won the game, Jay-Z, and you was the type of person that you was, and you made the decision that you made, and it put you on a spot to go like this. And now all these situations that have nothing to do with Jay-Z, you can't blame Jay for. You can't blame Jay for your relationships falling out and then having child support or being sued because allegedly you put out some film shit or whatever behind somebody else's company or whatever project that they was invested in without their permit. That has nothing to do with Jay-Z. One thing that we see a lot in Dame Dash, as much as I respect the fact that I feel like he is a guy that stands 10 toes down, he stands on his morals and his principles. I've always respected that about Dame. But he just seems to be such an abrasive person. He's in these rooms of movie production, music creation, management companies. This is corporate sponsorship entities and power figures that you're around. You can't be this abrasive, light everything on fire. I'm screaming and barking and cursing everybody out and my way to highway and I'm always right. You just can't be that if you're trying to operate in corporate America. It doesn't fly. This is why when we see that classic video of Jay-Z sitting there and Dame and Bleak and everybody, it's the Rock picture, and Jay's just sitting there. It really does look like he's just like, I don't fit y'all. And fast forward, they don't. Not everybody is meant to mix forever, right? It doesn't mean that you have to disassociate. You can still be brothers. But my personality evolved like this, and yours evolved like that. We're totally night and day, Jay-Z and Dame Dash. They wasn't meant to totally align personality-wise and get along forever, but they didn't have to turn into enemies. They didn't. Or maybe they did. But I see it in his reactions. B. He's disgruntled as fuck because of some of his own personal situations that Jay-Z had nothing to do with. But if you feel like shit, the root of the problem, and this whole train started with my fallouts with you, then you could just spend the rest of your life blaming other people for your issues. Pick what type of person you are. Drop a comment. Let's see if there's more stuff. I don't want to leave anything on the table. Brooks filmmaker Josh Weber and Muddy Water Pictures are still owed $823,000 from a separate judgment involving the film Dear Frank. Dash's financial troubles don't stop there. He's facing $4 million defamation judgment for comments made about Weber. 823 tied to the Dear Frank case, and $8 million tax debt in New York State. $8 million in taxes. That's why I said you never know if his lifestyle is $20,000 a month. I may have to raise that. Just as far as like what the type of money that needs to flow through him based on his regular life with his kids, his home, his bills. It might be more than 20 a year. I mean, a month. It might be much more than that. Because I mean, I would need to see how many years it took for him to develop $8 million in New York State tax debt. I would need to see how many years, but let's say hypothetically that's 8 years, 1 million per year, right? Now, if you owe $1 million in taxes per year, yeah, you got a higher than $20,000 per month lifestyle because your income, you're making. Let me try to do in my mind a little bit. If you owe $1 million, not even in Fed, just in state per year, New York, you may have made 20 million plus that year, right? So is this, remember, even the 1 million per year is just me trying to do fake calculate in my head of how you get to this. It could also be one big year here, one small year there. What's a big year? One big year is when I sold my stake in Reasonable Doubt, and I made 20. I'm just making up a number. I made 20 million this year. Last year, I only made 2 million. I said only. That's crazy. I only made $2 million. But this year I had a spike in my income. which spiked my taxes. Maybe 1 year in all of this was 5 out of the 8 million. But to get to $8 million in debt, period. We've seen people go to jail for tax evasion and not paying their tax debts. Was that Wesley Snipes? Right? I really did not think that this topic was going to bring us in the weeds this much, but this is wild for Dame. He's also preparing a file for bankruptcy. I mentioned that earlier. There you go. According to court filings, if Dash fails to comply with court's directives, he could be held in contempt or even face arrest. The sale of Dame Dash Studios has not yet been scheduled. One good piece of news for Damon is his wife, Brooks. The Brooks proceeds from the sale cannot exceed the $78,000 plus interest she is owed. He still got a lot of stuff over him, but we'll continue to follow it. I mean, once we brought that into our news cycle, it makes no sense to not stay on it. I mean, because as you see from this particular clip that we just did covering this, it brings us into discussions that's more than just, oh, Dame Dash owes somebody money. Dame Dash lost a lawsuit. It brings us into lifestyle, relationships, business decisions, taxes. So I like this conversation for us. And we're definitely going to continue to stay on this topic. All right. What do I got next for y'all? We're just about over an hour. Let's get into OTF. And we got to start with the face of OTF. Lil Durk, there's been an update in his docket. Nothing too crazy, but this was filed a couple days ago. This was filed on the 14th. Yeah, here we are, morning of the 16th. So United States District Court, Central District of California, United States versus Durk Banks. Here we have, yet again, another application for review or reconsideration of order setting conditions of release or detention and request for hearing. Okay. The defendant, Durk Banks, to the judge, magistrate judge, Donahue. And what do we have checked off here? A hearing is being sought before the district judge to review all information presented to and considered by the previous judicial officer to be presented to criminal duty district judge if case is unassigned. All right. Defendant Banks seeks an order of pretrial release on conditions that include a secured bond supported by $1 million cash from Alamo Records, $1 million cash from defendant Banks, $700,000 equity in real estate property, and any additional third-party sureties and guarantors to satisfy a bond amount that the court deems necessary. Proposed conditions of release to include home confinement with electronic monitoring and 24/7 surveillance by RSEC security service and any other conditions the court deems appropriate. That RSEC security service, when we brought that paperwork up, that was very detailed and seemed very professional. You know, they damn near was co-signing that we would be willing to tell on Durk. If we see suspicious behavior around him, we will report that to you, government. And then all this other stuff, check-ins, phone calls, monitoring of his visitation, the people that are allowed to be around him, everything. Like they listed all their professional services that they would apply towards being a part of his bond stipulations if it was granted. Of course, it was denied the other week. Cash-wise, 2.7 going up here. I mean, it's a bunch of money, right? The bond package to me is never the issue. With the amount of money and the amount of stipulations he's putting on the table, that's not the issue. It's the fact that it's murder for hire, which the judge already said. The fact that they felt that he was in detention, in custody, and still violating federal rules, like the phone calls and everything like that, the three-way calls. So it wasn't just the money or it's not the bond package. They're not like, oh, that was light. Nah, come back with a little bit more bread. Nah, that ain't it. And even when they pulled that chess move on them and said, yeah, you guys are trying to go after the grand jury process by saying that you have evidence that the music that hit the net with all the Quando Rondo screaming no was fan made. Your song was put out way before that. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna drop the superseding indictment, and we're gonna rip out the lyrics part of it. We don't care about the lyrics no more. Niggas like, what? What a chess move. Crazy. But after all of that, he's coming back yet again, moving for bond. I don't remember when his trial date is set, if it's set, but I wonder how much it costs him to. I mean, lawyers that he's probably using, was it Drew Finling, right? Yeah, lawyers like that are retained. You know, he's probably got an hourly rate, and you know, this all costs money. Dirk got it, but this is all costing of money, process. And I guess if you got it and I'm already sitting here, why not? If I have the opportunity to go for a third or fourth or a fifth bond attempt, maybe there comes a point where the judge shuts everything down and says, no matter what, there's no bond. Now, legally, as far as that process, I don't know how that works. But he continues to make these attempts, and you just can't be mad at him, right? Who doesn't want to fight their case from home opposed to behind bars? But that's a little Dirk update. Staying with OTF, once again, we mentioned on stream the other day that one of his affiliates, DoodieLo, it's just me and DoodieLo. What was that? The track with King Vaughn? Took her to the O. Yeah, so reported the other day that he got shot in Atlanta in the leg. But look at this. Little Durk's artist, DoodieLo, allegedly asked Quando Rondo's associates to help him get his jewelry back after he was shot and robbed in Atlanta last night. I hope that that's an accident, right? Y'all are at odds. Allegedly, Quando Rondo is the target in the murder for hire that got Dirk and 5 of his Codys from ODF sitting down right now. You know, so that's a war for life. Life has been lost. All right. Lives have been lost. Quando Rondo's cousin lost his life. King Vaughn lost his life. There's no coming back once life is lost. So there's no way DoodieLo from OTF is purposefully going through Quando Rondo's peoples allegedly to get his jewelry back. If this is true, that's got to be an accident. Look at the text message. Text message says, DoodieLo said if we can get his chain back, he got some cheese for us. So you know how rappers be feeling about their chains. You know, it's damn near loss of life. If you lost your chain, it brings you down. It makes you feel weak. You know, you lost your whole gang representation. And in this picture, they got him with his OTF chain on. Is it the OTF chain that's in question? Is that the chain that's up? Or allegedly was snatched from him at the time of his shooting? Was this a robbery attempt? Was it beef related to all the stuff that's going on with OTF? A different beef related to him? A spur of the moment situation? A robbery attempt? Did somebody want that OTF chain around his neck? Who knows? We saw that report the other day of the guy that was there was 2 people from O Block, not OTF, but O Block, that was killed outside of a bar. And then somebody took a picture with an old block chain on, you know, and then that person allegedly deleted his Instagram after. Like, why would you even post that? All right, we get it. You need the clout. Hey, I got the chain, but Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, whoever's showing this text message, I don't even know why this makes it to the internet. It's never gonna end. Self-incrimination and self-snitching will never end. Ever. Fine, fuck it. I'm not asking y'all to stop self-snitching. That's y'all business. We're just gonna keep breaking it down, reporting on it, and podcasting on it. What do you want me to do at this point? It is what it is. But let's stay with OTF. So what was this? I saw this morning, actually. And I was just like, all right, we might as well put it all together since we're doing Dirk and DoodieLo. But footage shows OTF Dede's brother, TTE, Little Ted, crying after getting caught with a gun. I'll tell you about them, or I'll tell you about the murder. He said, what?
You know what I'm saying? Is it no way to get to where I just said, so I go check on it? Oh my God. why? Because you got keys, so we going out. All right. The door unlocked. All right, I'm just sending a unit over there, all right? Okay? All right, sit tight, man. Sit tight. All right, give me your number. I'm going to call. What's her number? Wait, hold on. You got to relax. I can't understand. Relax. What's the number? What you saying? Stop. No, I'm saying, what you talking about? I'm trying to get that.
He looks young as shit. I ain't gonna lie. Looking at his face, I don't even put him over 20 years old. But you know these young niggas, man. You know, they walking around switched up, hammered up and all that. 10, 11, 12, you know? And you Dede's brother and you in that mix, you know, you a trench baby. You know, I'm not shocked. But if this is all related to you getting grabbed for a hammer, you obviously aren't old enough or sturdy enough to accept the repercussions of your actions. So when I see, you know, the bawling out, like even the crying, you know, there's a lot of people that probably watching the stream that have been arrested before, and them handcuffs go on, and you realize like, oh shit, it's going down. Like this is not us playing cops and robbers as kids. This is not me watching a movie or seeing this on TV. This nigga really did say, do me a favor, put your hands behind your back. And you heard that them shits are heavier than you think, right? Them little plastic fucking handcuffs that you played with as a kid, played cops and robbers, not them real handcuffs. They're heavy. This is some sturdy shit. It's like, get your ass thrown in the back of the car. You really drive like, I'm really, really going to jail. The fuck is going on? This can't. I'm definitely about to wake up from this dream. I'm really still in the holding cell. Like, I woke up. I'm really still here. I'm really being processed and fingerprinted. I'm really about to go see the judge. I'm really being transferred. What the fuck is going on? Right. So the gravity of it cracks a lot of people, and this is what you end up seeing. And I could speak like this because I can speak like this. You know, youngins. I know the demographic of this channel starts from like, I looked at my YouTube stats the other day. It really starts the heavier percentage from the lower 20s to like through the 50s, age-wise. There's not a lot of people, it's not a high percentage of people that tune into my podcast that are like age up until like 16 or 17. It pretty much starts a little bit after that. But if this does reach any youngins, if you happen to be 15, 16 years old and watching me, I'm telling you, when you end up in this situation, it's going to hit. And you're either going to have to realize like, oh, it just went down. It's a wrap. Okay, now I got to figure out what's going to happen next. Or it's going to make you crack and feel like this. It's a nightmare. First time you get arrested, it's a fucking nightmare. And who is this the brother of what reports are saying? Let's remind you, it said OTF Dede. So for anybody that, once again, doesn't know who OTF Dede is, OTF Dede is allegedly one of the shooters or one of the people that carried out the murder for hire of Quando Rondo's cousin. OTF Dede, OTF Vonnie, OTF Boogie, etc. have been arrested for the murder of Little Pab and free him. Dede beat his murder charge. He was fighting since 2014. So Dede already has a criminal history. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, people, but OTF Dede was also the one that infamous footage came out of. He got caught lacking by his ops, and his ops made him go down on a woman that was on her period. Did they also in that video cut his hair off and stuff? I think that was OTF Dede. But fast forward, he's still well accepted into OTF. There's songs with him and Lil Durk out. They got songs together. They got videos together. So whatever's happened to him in the past, if he got caught lacking, it comes to the territory. It could happen to the best of them. But he must have a strong reputation for putting in work. He's got prior charges. prior alleged attempts, they're saying, or arrested for murder. Or wait, Dede beat his murder charge he was fighting since 2014. So he beat a murder, they're saying already. But he's one of the OTF members that were indicted along with all of this Lil Durk stuff. So, now his brother is in there allegedly crying over him getting arrested. The cycle continues. Look up to big brother OTF Dede that's got all this clout, all this respect in the hood. He's got an OTF chain. I know who OTF is. That's Lil Durk. Oh, he got a video with Lil Durk. Lil Durk around here is Kanye, Lil Durk, Common, Jill Scott, The Roots, Will Smith. Like, these are who we look up to, right? Lil Durk is one of them. Little kid growing up looking at his brother like, oh, he's with who I consider Chicago's president. He might follow in your footsteps. Very unfortunate. All right. That's the OTF update. That's OTF. What do I got next? Let's see. Oh, this is why I showed my Styles P stuff earlier. All right, from the mixtape era, and I got some DVDs and his album that I put up here. This is why, because when I saw this clip, I'll give you my feedback on this of Styles P answering to Jim Jones. Jim Jones had a recent interview or something that he did. He's talking about like a versus with the Locks or Styles P. And Jim Jones did it bad. It was like friendly competition the way he was talking. It wasn't nothing crazy. He wasn't being disrespectful or nothing. But he was talking this shit. Jim Jones like, yeah, I'll out any of them. Nobody go out, not album by album, but song for song with me. I got hits. I got this. Jim was talking his shit. So here's finally the response from the Ghost. Let's check this out.
Me and Jim ain't in the same league. Me and Jim don't do the same thing.
Yeah, don't.
I am a bar master. I am a lyrical technician. I've been on joints with some of the best MCs in the world. Big, Hov, Black Thought, Talib. I bar shit down. When Rakim tells you nice, KRS tells you nice, Big tells you nice, Hov tells you nice, Don tells you nice, all these people tells you nice, you're fucking nice. I'm not here to make catchy hooks and do dope shit. I don't knock that. I'm trying to say some shit that's gonna make your soul. There's gonna be some shit you may catch 10 years later down the line. So me and Jim don't do the same thing. I am a bar master. I'm master hip of this shit. There's not many people in my age group that have the amount of catalog I have. You gotta go sit down and listen. I'm a fucking library of bars practically. I'll give you a
who knows the beat.
I pull out Last Days with Big. I pull out Reservoir Dogs. I pull out The Joint with
really
good songs in my own catalog. Style don't got a Alone in the Streets. What? Jim don't got a Green Piece of Paper. He don't got none of them kind of songs that make niggas cry. A couple of them, but not 20 of them. You better check my jacket. You better check my jacket. I made up a fucking lane. It wasn't the hardest. Tell him that. With fly dudes, it was kings. I invented the lane where niggas saying they make hard shit.
There you go.
I forgot more dope rhymes than most people would ever make. Me and Jim ain't in the same league. Me and Jim don't do the same.
L. Dot, this clip was for you. He's the one that texted me this. My homie L. Dot. He texted to me on the gram. Zero lies detected. Fuck is Jim talking about? I fuck with Jim. Y'all know I fuck with Jim. Rapping wise, catalog wise. What the fuck is Jim talking about? This is P. Maybe at times we forget who P is because of Kiss. Maybe that happens. I don't know. It don't happen with no hip-hop head. Definitely not me. This is P we talking about. You can't do nothing with no fucking Styles P. There's people that maybe because he hasn't had records and hit songs that have come out, it's like a new era. Like his golden era in time is kind of people, he's like in the GOAT side and legend side now. It's all these newer artists wave. It's their turn now. So this new generation probably don't know. But there was definitely times where he was argued in the group of the best. Like rap bar for bar. You know how many what we call, I don't do the pause shit, man. I hate that y'all pause this, but I just come from that era. The in and out tracks. What's an in and out? It's when the two artists is going back to back. Like I'd say a bar, you say a bar. I say 2 bars, you say 2 bars. I say 4 bars, you say 4 bars. How many of those the Styles P and Jadakiss had? They always looked at like you get them two on a track doing an in and out flow together. It's unstoppable. So that means that Styles P is holding his weight with Jadakiss, who a lot of people consider top 5 dead or alive. This is P. This is Ghost in the Shell. This is Gangsta and a Gentleman. This is who everybody considered the hardest MC. Stop playing. This is where even people like the Hell Rels of the world were able to get into that lane. I'm the hardest out. And they did songs together. You know, P gave him his, all right, let's do it together. But son, this is Holiday Styles. The man made Holiday. The man made Holiday. You heard it from the P. You ought to know it's that I get you kidnapped and thrown off a roof. You can nod your head to this like it's only a rap. When these bullets hit your ass, I'm like, it's only a gat. I need a funeral to feel, and I'm hoping it's yours. Think you religious? Heard he got shot in the cross. Holiday Styles. Bitch, I broke most of the laws. Fuck the poor. Stick to the coop. Anything it take for me to get to this loop. Missing a tooth for both of them chipped. Toaster is grip. You heard about the trouble. I start most of the shit. When I squeeze, ain't no controlling the wrist. And niggas leave a room when they hear the P flow in the Swiss. I'm an ignorant and nigga. I sell crack, bust guns, pop shit, and say I'm better than niggas. You think not? I look at your man and level a nigga. And if you think a rapper better, why don't you give me his name so I can run up on him, tear him down, and bring you his frame? The fuck is y'all? Jim, go exit stage left. Don't try to compete with Styles P. We not doing that. I fuck with Jim, but cut it out. Stop. Oh yeah, I want to close out the stream like this real quick. It's not even a topic. It's just a closer.
I hate that, man. Plus I seen the nigga at one of the park parties just sucking in the bathroom. Kanye West, I hate that, man. Plus I seen the nigga at one of the park parties just sucking in the bathroom. Kanye West, I hate that, man. Plus I seen the nigga at one of the park parties just sucking in the bathroom. Kanye West, I hate that, man. Plus I seen the nigga at one of the park parties just sucking in the bathroom.
Well, all right. Shout out to Meth, man. Shout out to the homie Meth. All right. That concludes today's topics for episode 422. I'm going to get this up right away. Y'all might have this by 6:30 a.m. The latest 7 a.m. This full episode out to the public. And then the clips will continue to roll out. I got y'all. And like I said, I will be back live late afternoon or maybe early evening, where we can do a full recap of what appears to be Cassie's last day on the stand, being cross-examined by the defense. Let's see what happens. All right, keep your notifications on. Subscribe if you're not. A ton of content dropping to the channel daily. Even I can't stay up with this at this point, my damn self, but my grind is something to be studied. I promise you. I'm really we taking this up 10 notches. I got y'all, man. I got y'all. And I appreciate y'all support. I'm glad that y'all are saying, hey, that podcast over there, you know, let's take a look. Let's see what's going on. I'm seeing some, we broke down some of the analytics of the returning viewers yesterday. A little spike in subscriptions from last week is we are working, you know, and people is getting more and more familiar with the Sorry It's True podcast. And I'm brick by brick. Same with RBE, same thing with my regular life, anything I've ever been successful with, same thing with the Sorry It's True podcast, brick by brick. I will be here 5 years from now saying, hey, I can't wait for us to reach the next level. That's the type of person I am. I'm not a microwave nigga. I'm a stove cooker. So brick by brick, but we moving. So stay tuned, y'all. We got much more on the way. I got y'all.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry It's True podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without, I think still got a gun.